Have you ever looked at a massive exam question and just wondered, what are they actually looking for? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain. We're diving deep into a real AQA GCSE Biology question. It's worth a huge 14 marks, and we're going to break it down point by point using the official mark scheme.
So, here's the game plan. First, we'll get a bird's eye view of the whole question. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty, starting with plant and animal defenses. After that, we hit the big one, the 6-mark explanation, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build a killer answer. Then we'll wrap up with mitosis before I give you some crucial exam takeaways that could honestly change how you revise.
Okay, so here it is, question 4. This is a classic. It's a multi-part beast that jumps between a few different biology topics, from plant defenses all the way to cell division. With a total of 14 marks up for grabs, every single part counts. All right, let's get stuck in. We're starting with the first 2 parts of the question, which are all about the super clever ways that plants and animals protect themselves from harm. Here we go. Question 4.1. You've got 3 plant defenses, and your job is to decide if they're chemical or physical. So have a quick look. A thick, waxy layer, poisonous berries, and bark that just falls off. What do you think? Which one is which? And here are the answers, straight from the people who do the marking. That thick, waxy layer, that's a physical barrier. The poisonous berries, definitely chemical. And the bark falling off, that's also physical because it literally gets rid of pests. Now check this out. This is a key bit of exam technique. You need all 3 right for the full 2 marks. Get just 2 right, and you only get 1 mark. It just goes to show how much precision really matters. Okay, on to 4.2. Look at the screen. On the left, we've got a hornet. On the right, a hornet moth. I mean, they look almost identical, don't they? That visual similarity is a massive clue for the next question, which is all about mimicry. So the question wants you to suggest how looking like a dangerous hornet helps the completely harmless hornet moth survive. That command word, suggest, means you need to apply what you know about biology to a new scenario. It's only worth 1 mark, so you've got to be quick and to the point.
And there it is. That's exactly what the examiner wants to see. The perfect 1-mark answer is that predators are tricked or deceived by its appearance and therefore avoid eating it. You see the logic? The key is to link how the moth looks directly to a predator's behavior, which is what helps it survive. Simple as that.
Right, it's time for the main event, the one everyone fears, the 6-mark question. This is where you get to really flex your knowledge and show the examiner what you're made of. We are going to deconstruct the official mark scheme to see exactly how to build a top-level answer. The question is this: explain why a tree might die if the roots of the tree are damaged. 6 marks. That's a huge clue that you need to give a really detailed, logically structured explanation with a bunch of linked biological points. And here's the real-world context for you. These are the larvae of that hornet moth we just talked about. They're the little guys causing all the damage to the tree roots. This picture kind of helps connect the dots, right? Okay, the mark scheme is brilliant here. It breaks down all the possible points into themes. First up, the impact on water. So if the roots are damaged, you get less water absorption. That leads to a lower rate of photosynthesis, which means less glucose for respiration. You could even mention that the cells lose turgidity, that water pressure that keeps them firm, which makes the plant wilt. Do you see that chain of cause and effect? That is exactly what gets you the big marks. The second theme is the impact on minerals. Damaged roots mean the tree can't absorb essential mineral ions. For example, if the tree can't get enough nitrates, it can't make the proteins it needs to grow. Or a lack of magnesium ions means it can't make enough chlorophyll, which again slows down photosynthesis. Naming specific minerals and what they do is a fantastic way to add that top-level detail. And finally, the mark scheme looks at direct damage to the tree's transport systems. If the xylem is damaged, less water gets transported up the plant. If the phloem is damaged, less sugar gets down to the root cells for their own energy. And of course, damaged roots mean less anchorage, so the tree becomes unstable. A really top-tier answer would pull together points from 2 or even all 3 of these themes. We are on the home stretch now. The last 2 questions take a little pivot away from plant defenses and zoom in on the fundamental process of cell division. Question 4.4 is a 4-marker asking you to describe mitosis. To get all 4 marks, you've got to hit these key stages. Number 1, the cell's DNA doubles, or replicates. Number 2, those replicated chromosomes get pulled apart to opposite ends of the cell. Number 3, the cytoplasm divides, forming 2 separate cells. And finally, number 4,
You have to state that the two new cells are genetically identical to the original. 4 points, 4 marks. And the final part, 4.5, is a quick 1-mark definition. It asks for the name of the process where stem cells become specialized. The answer is differentiation. But here's a crucial tip from the mark scheme. It specifically says to ignore specialization as an answer. This is a perfect example of why using precise scientific terms is so important if you want to bag every mark. So, we've pulled the question apart, we've dissected the mark scheme, but what does this all actually mean for you and your exam technique? Let's boil it all down to the key lessons from this whole process. So, what are the big takeaways? First, always use the number of marks to guide how much you should write. Second, hunt down those command words. Explain needs a totally different answer than suggest. Third, especially in those longer questions, build a logical story by linking cause and effect. Fourth, be precise. We saw how differentiation was the only word they'd accept. And finally, for those massive 6 markers, structure your answer around different themes, just like the mark scheme does. You know, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. It's not just enough to know the biology, you have to know how to communicate it in a way that scores points. So after seeing how this is all marked from the inside, I have a question for you. What's one thing you are going to change about your revision strategy to get you ready for your exams? Think about that, and let that be your main takeaway today.